cars through the highways, and on we'll go.
Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So today I'm going to talk about something that's been on my mind for quite a while, and that is what is, in my opinion, one of Star Stable's biggest problems. So yeah, let's just talk about it. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, make sure to subscribe. It really means a lot. And now let's get into it. So the problem that I'm gonna be talking about, and the one that's been on my mind for quite a while, is Star Stable not explaining their updates, especially the ones where you can get something for free. So you can get a pet for free, you can get, free items, clothing, tag, other valuables, and things like that. Because I feel like on those, SSO is really quiet, and I do kind of have an answer to that, but I'm gonna talk about this a bit later. So this has been a problem for quite a while with Star Stable, not explaining all of these things properly. But the thing is, they don't even, not explain well enough. They don't even say anything about it. So this problem first appeared during the Halloween update, or I guess the Halloween event, where nobody knew that we could get a special pet from the cauldron. So as you probably remember, or if you weren't active during the Halloween event, in the Galloper's Keep, which is a special area that is present on Jorvik during the Halloween event, you could gather some ingredients and then you could throw them in the cauldron and you would get something in return, either be magic powder, some tag, clothing, other valuable items, or maybe if you were very lucky or if you tried for enough time, you would get a pestilent pumpkin pet. But the thing is, Star Stable didn't say anything about the pet for the first 2 weeks or something like that, and the odds of getting the pet were so low that nobody was getting it, even 3 weeks into the event, and make the odds of getting the pumpkin higher. But even during the 3rd week and then the 4th, the last week, not that many people got it. And the thing is, you would have to spend so much time getting all of the ingredients and then to not get it, that's really frustrating. And the Halloween event was a mess of its own, with, having to actually unlock every activity, the soul shards, extreme RNG. I don't even know what to say about it, but the thing that's been bothering me the most is that they don't actually say anything. As I said, I'm just repeating myself, but they really don't. As far as I know, they only mentioned the pestilent pumpkin on their Instagram, but if they did put it in the news, it wasn't a big part of their news on their actual website. And the thing is, not everyone has Instagram, or not everyone will check Star Stable's Instagram, not everyone will check their Twitter, their TikTok, even their website. So I feel like it should really be more obvious, but I feel like even they didn't really know about, how all of this worked. Because I remember that once they revealed that you could get the pet, many people were asking more questions in the comments because it really wasn't explained very well. And SSO was like, oh, you just have to do the dailies every day and you get it from there. And then it was like, no, if you do the dailies, you're gonna get a higher chance of getting it, and the things like that. But it's none of that was true. I just feel like a lot of times there's a lot of disconnect with different teams in SSO. And I don't know, I personally get really annoyed because this same thing happened during the winter event. So as all of you probably know, there was a blizzard for 3 out of 5 weeks during the Halloween event. The blizzard was present for 4 hours in total every day, and every so often you would get some items from the blizzard. And if you did all of the blizzards, you would get a full set. But the thing is, never in their news, on their posts on Instagram, never ever did they mention that you can get anything from the blizzard. They just said that, oh, it's time for the blizzard, it's here during these hours. They never mentioned that you could get special items. And I did all of the blizzards, literally all of them, except for 4, and I didn't get all of the items. I think that's kind of insane. So I've already been kind of frustrated, but the blizzard, the times and everything, that was so, I don't know why SSO does it. I mean, I know, I'm just yeah. And obviously I did some videos about the Blizzard to kind of help people, because obviously someone has to explain some things. Even though it's quite obvious, I feel like it's still good to put out every piece of information so that more people can, you know, do the Blizzard, access the items, all of that. But I was like so frustrated when a few days before the update was over, someone commented under one of my Blizzard videos that they didn't even know that, you know, you could get a free set, and they were really sad because like that's their style, they really like the set. And I was just so annoyed with SSO at that point, like, and I feel like this has been brewing a little bit because I like their thought process. I don't get it. So I'm gonna explain it. I'm also gonna put a video of Stacy plays during the interview, but I still wanted to like explain what actually is going on right now. So I think in late December, 2 Star Stable players or YouTubers did an interview with Star Stable's game director Stacy, and they talked about a bunch of things there. I still want to talk about some of those things, but I just haven't gotten around to do it. But one of them was the Halloween event, where Stacy said that she was absent because she was on vacation, and then she was sick and came back when the Halloween event just started, and you know, all of that. But she said that she really likes to give the teams kind of free reins of doing things, but that during the Halloween event they went too far with the RNG, with, you know, locking everything behind a soul shard paywall, and it was just bad. And you know, they had a meeting and they talked about this, and you know, they were like, okay, we're going to fix it, which is another thing that I'm really annoyed with, because people always give them constructive criticism. They point out things that are bad, and SSO is like, yeah, we're gonna talk about this, and they don't fix it. They make it worse. I don't know how that's possible. But one of the things that Stacy mentioned is that what they're thinking about now is how cool it is, for example, with the pumpkin from the cauldron, the pestilent pumpkin, how cool it is when only the people who worked the hardest, who were the luckiest, got the pumpkin, and not everyone. And how they were kind of thinking of, you know, doing things this way. So I think the Blizzard situation was the result of that thinking. But I don't get how they're still thinking of doing things like that, because first of all, a free pet is a really valuable like item in SSO. It's kind of weird to call it an item, but you know, it's a really valuable thing to have in SSO because the pets are really expensive. So if there's a way to get a free pet, everyone would want to do that. So I think if anything, they should have done this extremely high RNG with, I don't know, maybe some clothing items. But I feel like the reason why I'm so frustrated when, you know, they do things like this is because Star Stable is a very expensive game, not only for you to pay with actual money, but in Star Stable things are expensive. Because if you don't have star coins to spend, you have to grind so much to get things, so much, or you have to wait for so long, and then, you know, you're basically broke if you buy things with star coins and don't, you know, put out your actual money into the game to, you know, buy even more things. So I'm just so frustrated when there are, you know, opportunities for you to get free stuff, and then they kind of block those opportunities by either not saying that you can get stuff, not explaining properly, or just making it so difficult to actually get it. Because if nothing else, you can sell those items that you got for free, because usually they have a semi-good resale value. I think the celebrity ski trip set that you could get from the Blizzard, it was like 250 Euro shillings for each item. So, you know, there were still quite a lot of items. So if you were to sell all of them, you would still get something good. And also with the Blizzard, oh my gosh, I'm all over the place, but I need to talk about this. You could also get so much character XP from doing the Blizzard every day. You would get 80 character XP every day, so you'd get at least 1680 character XP. But if you did the 2 Blizzards before the update rolled out on Wednesday, you would get 160 more, which is something that I did, and I really wanted to get a full set because I am kind of a collector, I guess you could call it, but I didn't get the last two pieces. But of course, don't worry, SSO said that the next year you'll be able to buy those pieces for money, so you know, everything's fine. But yeah, I get so heated during these times because, you know, on one hand, Star Stable is like, oh, we have a young audience, we have to do this and this. Okay, well, if you have a young audience, explain your updates, because during these times, even if, you know, someone young was playing and was like, oh, parent, help me, I don't understand this, their parents wouldn't be able to help because there's no information. I don't know. I mean, I don't really play many other games, so I don't know if that's the case with other games, but I feel like, you know, Star Stable, as I said, is a really expensive game. It's hard to buy a shirt there, it's hard to buy pants, it's hard to buy a bridle, a saddle. Everything is extremely expensive. If you want to have something that's full stats or that looks nice, it's gonna be 100 star coins or 10,000 Jorvik shillings. So, you know, when there is an opportunity to get something for free, just let us have it, please. Just, why do you keep doing this? I don't get it. I wouldn't be so frustrated if they didn't constantly talk about, oh yeah, we're giving your feedback back to the team, we're going to talk about it, we're going to improve this, but they don't. They really don't. So it's like, so honestly, I don't think there's any point in taking your precious time out of your precious day to write them a constructive criticism, because they're either going to dismiss it because they're going to say that you're like a hater or something, or they just will not care. Like, they always pass along all of the criticism, but nothing is ever changed. So it's like, I don't know. It's really frustrating to care about this game because it constantly does things like that. And I know I complain a lot, but it's because I still care about this game. And I know I have at least some sort of voice, and you know what? I don't complain that much. I just complain when it's necessary, you know? This whole situation is so frustrating. I think it's cool when they add a special secret quest that you don't have on your like quest table and they don't say anything, or maybe they just mention it somewhere in Jorvik, there's a secret quest, because those things are permanent and you can do them today, you can do them tomorrow, you can do them in 3 years, but these things are time limited. And like, as much as I love the game and I'm grateful for everything, I've met some amazing people and I've had the opportunity to do YouTube, and obviously it played a big part in my childhood. I feel like it's the kind of relationship where, you know, they've done something bad and you still love them, but you don't currently like them. So here is what Stacy Plays had to say about the whole Halloween fiasco and how they supposedly changed everything for the better.
Speaking of like updates and feedback then, Halloween has now come and gone, and I think it's safe to say that there were a lot of opinions, both good and bad, of course. I think people seemed to be quite, especially, I guess, displeased or disappointed in like the unclear instructions and the low odds of getting the blue pumpkin. As well as the tornado and like soul shard grind and the ratio and stuff, and also the fact that they initially gave character XP. And I guess, like, what was the internal dialogue at the time in the company? Like, was this something you'd expected, or was it like we ran out of time and then all these problems arose, or what happened basically?
Ellen, more so on the reaction, because I was away during production for this project. So I was on vacation, and then that's when I came back and had COVID. So I was trying to catch up on everything that had happened while I was away. And that just happened to be in time for the release. So I think we have what I refer to as a festival framework that we're building, which kind of establishes the guidelines and the structure of how festivals should work in Star Stable Online. And I think for Halloween, we ventured a little too far away from that framework. And I always applaud the team for trying new things or wanting to do something a little bit different or shake things up. I think in this case, it maybe went a little bit too much in a different direction than what we probably should have. And obviously seeing a lot of the reactions was disappointing because the team has one thought in their head of how everything is going to play out, and then when it doesn't, they start to feel really, they feel bad about it, of course. Nobody wants to intentionally make a miserable experience.
No, of course.
So it's more about figuring out, okay, what exactly now is it that players don't like? What do they like? Is there something that maybe we just need to do differently next time? The soul shards, for instance, are phased out. We're moving towards a token system, so those won't be returning. And I think, for instance, the pumpkin was just for our players, especially way too difficult of a grind. Like the way to get it, the percentage of getting it was way too low. And we had talked about mitigating that in certain ways, like maybe it needs to be increased odds over the weeks. So they had planned potentially for the last week to have increased odds. Maybe the more you put in, your odds need to increase. So there's different ways that you can mitigate that from happening. So if we were ever to do something similar to that in the future, there's other ways we could play around with it. So it's not quite as drastic, I guess, to the point where almost nobody gets it, because it can be fun to have something so unique that not a lot of people have it, but at the same time, given our player demographic, I think we went too far in that direction, really. So it's just kind of, we had a big retro where we talked about everything, we went through feedback, thoughts on what we didn't do well and what we did do well, and we have a lot of learnings for that going forward, absolutely.
But I think it was interesting because usually whenever there's like a collecting, something to collect, I guess, you usually have the people who play like almost all day and they end up getting something really fast. But it was fascinating because we were on like the second week and nobody had seen it. We didn't even think it was in the game yet, which I thought was like interesting, I guess. It was also a little bit confusing because it was like, okay, is it intentional? Is it gonna happen? Is it like, what are we actually looking for,
Yeah.
But I think it was a good idea to increase it over the week. But like a question about that though, was it? You said that it was planned. Was it planned to have it increase over the week, or was that something they ended up realizing? Sorry, I'm not sure I understood.
Both. So the plan from the beginning, from what I understood from the team, was that the final week the odds were always going to increase no matter what. But then we did it additionally, I think it was after those first 2 weeks when we kind of saw like, okay, this isn't working, we need to make a change. So we did that, I think it was week 3. We changed it again.
Yeah, that's interesting. But was speaking of the tornadoes and the soul shards and the collecting there, I guess some people were displeased at the fact that you needed a lot of soul shards, but I also feel like it wasn't that hard to get them considering you had the option, I guess, to kind of grind the soul shards for the full hour, or for at least for the 20 minutes, which was something that was revealed last year. But the team, at least in like in emails to customer support, it was stated that it wasn't, nobody was going to get banned or anything for it. So I guess it was almost like, I don't want to say allowed, but it was at least known of in the team. And I understand not fixing it because it was like the last year of Halloween, or it was the last year having the soul shards. But the character XP, was that intentional, or was it like a mistake that slipped through somewhere?
Was kind of an unknown. I had no idea that there was that was happening. So that's when I kind of said, okay, we need to pull back, because I did not anticipate players to be getting so much XP from this. So I didn't mind that they were able to kind of keep doing the activity, even though that wasn't how it was intended. Like that's fine. People were frustrated. They wanted to be able to collect the soul shards. Absolutely keep it that way, but we did pull back on the XP because that was not, part of it.
So yeah, let me know what you think. Oh, my grandma is calling me. Okay, so I hope you don't hear this, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye!